He's supposed to pay.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
But you're supposed to have sex with him whenever he says.
Hi everyone, it's Blue. Make sure you like and subscribe and go follow me on Patreon. It's only $5 a month and you get at least an extra video every week.
In the Bible it says, what goes around comes around. I'ma shot me, 3 weeks later he got shot down. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason.
Today I'm going to be reacting to a man who humbles a room full of women.
I have one more question. We had this person at the back in the stripes. Yeah, let's hear from you.
During the dating period, you know, after like 4 or 5 months of dating, I just wondering at what point do you have to pay, do the women have to pay when they go out? The guy is asking that there should be half and half at that point when you already...
At what point?
When you already been dating for 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, okay, to give you a quick answer on, firstly, I think we should just deal with the who should pay thing to begin with. When you're on a date, who should pay?
I know, I mean, that's what I told him, you know, I'm sorry.
But,
I say, I'm dating, we're dating.
But here's the...
gentleman here.
Okay, he's supposed to pay.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
But you're supposed to have sex with him whenever he says.
No.
I don't know who this guy is, but it seems like there is a lot of women in the audience and they're clearly speaking about dating and probably like relationships between men and women and I guess roles of what's appropriate and what you should do and like what's the best healthy way, how to be equal, stuff like that, I guess. And yeah, taking questions from the audience of like, hey, well, when is this happening? And I guess this is where it starts the conversation of, well, before we get to the 4 or 5 months part, let's just start at the beginning, who should pay? And most of everyone from the audience, you can clearly hear, says the man. The best I can speak on it just from this video is I'm assuming, you know, it's been a thing for a very long time where maybe it was just assumed or kind of expected that the guy does pay since the beginning of whenever you want to like date back to. And then at least like 50s or 60s, probably it was still pretty popular that a guy should like pay and provide and stuff like that. I do think that maybe this conversation is becoming a little bit more popular nowadays because people are discussing a lot more of like equal rights and women are making more money and having more jobs and more freedoms and stuff. And relationships are very different between men and women than they were back in the day, maybe when people didn't really have that many conversations about it, including even dating and marriage and having kids. Very different nowadays than it was like 50 years ago. So maybe that's just why this conversation is very popular right now, because a lot of things have changed since the last time we've kind of just maybe all assumed as a whole, oh, men pay.
But then whenever he says.
No. Whenever what?
Where does this double standard come from? I'm sorry, it's the reality. You guys you can moan at it all you want, but the moment you say to a guy, you have to fucking pay for my time, you're saying this relationship isn't equal. This relationship isn't equal. My time is worth more than yours, so you should pay for it. I wonder what paradigm that sets up. Here's my view. If you go on a date with a guy and you don't offer to pay your share, you weren't taught right. If you go on a date and he doesn't pay, he wasn't taught right. I can tell you right now, if I was dating someone and they never offered to pay, I wouldn't be dating them. I can tell you that now. If they never offered to pay, I would not be dating them because I'd say, this is the most polite they're ever going to be. And they're not even trying to pay now. What does that say about my future?
I actually really like that point that he made because I do think that people typically show their best parts at the beginning, which is fair. Everyone, for the most part, does it. I don't even think it's purposeful. I mean, you get more comfortable, more things happen, fights, arguments, differing opinions, you know, just things happen later on that don't happen at the beginning. Most people don't sit down on the first date and like show up with their comfy clothes for Sunday. Like, no, I mean, the best part of you is usually shown more so at the beginning. If you want to argue, oh, people keep it up, whatever, it's a different argument. But here, it is kind of a good, like, if these are the best parts of you and you're not even offering to pay now, I feel like the worst parts of you will escalate. So that's a fair like flag for him to look at, I think. I think that the person who maybe invites you is a really good way to go off of who pays, so it does count for the girl. If a man invites you on this date, maybe it's expected for him to pay. He invited you. Same for a girl, though, is what I hear in the argument. If she really wants to go to like this specific restaurant, and it wasn't even your idea, or you're maybe not even interested in going, but she really wants to go, maybe it is also fair for her to just pay. So I hear that sometimes too. Like I don't think would seem fair to a lot of people if a girl invites you somewhere that she really wants to go, but then also kind of just expects you to pay for the entire thing, no matter how expensive it was.
They're not even trying to pay now. What does that say about my future? But look, let me come at this from a different angle. I will always treat my partner how I would treat my best friend. And I wouldn't apply a different standard to my partner than my best friend. I wouldn't say to my best friend, let's always go out to dinner and you always pay. I'd say, let's be teammates here in whatever way we can. And maybe, by the way, proportionately, what you can do is less than what he can do. That's a different thing. If he says to you, I want to go stay at the top hotel in Big Sur this weekend, and it's $1,500 a night, and you say, I don't have the money. It's his job to say, it doesn't matter. I didn't do it so you could pay. I did it because I want to go and I want to take you. Great. That's what that is, right? Or if you both agree to go on holiday and you have a fifth of his earning potential, you say, I want to contribute to a fifth of this holiday. It's overly simplistic, but you get what I'm saying, right? I'll contribute on the level I can contribute.
This all seems kind of fair. I wouldn't even necessarily call this like, he humbles a room full of women, because, one, she did just ask a question. I don't really see a lot of people in the audience like, ugh. Like, a lot of women are like, yeah, that seems fair. I also liked the conversation where, let's just say you both have been together for a little bit, and it's like an annual thing to go to Disneyland once a year. Maybe with that being like a known thing that you both do that every year, and she makes a fifth of what you make. Not to be super technical, but like you said, just kind of catching the drift. You could offer like, oh, let me just buy at least like the plane tickets, and you pay for everything else because I literally don't make as much money as you. Just something where it shows like contribution, or even offering. Like sometimes your partner may even say like, no, I feel like I make literally more than double what you make. Let me just pay for all of it. You never know. It always depends on the person. But I don't think that he's necessarily saying it always has to be this way. I think he's also just pointing out, if you go into something with the mentality of how something should be, and it's not exactly something that comes off as like very giving on your part, it's not usually a super healthy mentality.
Fifth of his earning potential, you say, I want to contribute to a fifth of this holiday. It's overly simplistic, but you get what I'm saying, right? I'll contribute on the level I can contribute. Let me tell you what means something to a guy. Trying. That means something to a guy. When he feels that you're not even trying to contribute, that's when he feels used. Because any guy who's really confident and self-respecting, if the woman never is even trying to contribute, he feels like he's being taken advantage of. And it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the lack of gesture. So I would be looking at, if you like this guy, maybe if you're in different positions, figure out what you want to contribute proportionately, or what you can contribute proportionately, and treat him as you would your best friend.
I actually really liked that video. It wasn't like degrading or rude at all. I thought that how he kind of set it up and hit one thing at a time to actually make way to her actual question was a really nice walk on the way there. He didn't just answer her, oh, don't you feel a little entitled asking such a silly question? Like, he wasn't pompous or rude or anything. He was really nice. He seems well educated. He approached it like just almost very professionally. I mean, he wasn't there trying to make a show or make people laugh at her, make her feel little for even asking that question. And he even asked at the beginning, what would you all say on the first date? Basically, everyone was like, the man. And he laughed a little bit like, okay, come on, I'm going to take you for a walk. And then he just, I don't know, I thought it was a nice way to explain it. Some people don't explain it that nicely and just try to make people feel stupid. Everyone does have their own opinions, and I think that how he addressed his was very well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Walking into it, I was a little nervous just by the title itself, but I thought it was good and fair. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure you check out all my links, including my Twitch and my Patreon, and I'll see you all next time.